Rick Higgins with you here again. In this video we're going to be doing something a little bit different than just repairing Volkswagens. We're going to be looking at the big mess that's left over from Bugby Video that started 25 years ago. Brent from Haptic Garage is with us here, and he's going to be helping me dig treasure out of what's left of the place here. So we ought to have a good time.
Indeed we will. Come along with us.
And what are we going to do? Search for treasures?
Yeah, we're going to search for a few treasures. First of all, thanks so much for allowing me to come here today.
Oh, I'm glad. I've watched your videos and everything. Yeah, and I was looking forward to meeting you. Yeah, you got a nice way on your videos. So.
I appreciate that. It was like thrill of a lifetime to see that Rick Higgins commented on one of my videos. I got thrilled by that. That was super cool.
Well, that makes me feel good. Yeah.
I'm starstruck today just being here hanging out with you. So it's a really special thing.
Yeah. Well, good. I'm glad you're enjoying it and everything. Yeah, I'm having a good time here. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. You're one of the typical Volkswagen guys, you know. I mean, easygoing, honest, straightforward, you know, just down to earth. You know, like the old bugs and stuff. You can't be too uppity if you like Volkswagen Beetles, because they're not that uppity, you know. But they're good old cars and they're fun to drive. So,
indeed,
you know,
they are.
Yeah, you can't go wrong there. Yeah.
So you have a long history in Volkswagens, but the way that most people know you is through the Bug Me video series. When did that start, and can you tell me a little bit about the impetus for doing that? Like, I imagine you saw a need and felt a way that you could
I'll tell you what, we started in '98, and it seemed like right then, that's about the time the new Beetle came out, and it seemed like there was an upsurge in the interest in the old Beetle. The people saw the new Beetle and they thought, well, yeah, but it's not air cooled, it's not the old Beetle, you can't just drop the motor out of it or anything. And it made them think about the old Beetles, and I think people started dragging them back out of their backyards and fixing them up again and everything. And there was an upsurge of interest, and we had a little Volkswagen club here in town that had about 60 people in it back then. And everybody knew I used to work on Volkswagens, and that I was buying them and fixing them up and stuff and everything. And they started coming over and like, hey Rick, you know, show me how to adjust my valves, you know, or what do I do about this problem? And they were fixing up their old bugs and stuff, you know. And a lot of it was the same stuff, you know, how do I adjust my valves, how do I set my timing, you know, how do I adjust my clutch and stuff like that. So me and the boys thought, and we did, you know, had a big old VHS camera we used on vacation and stuff, you know. Well, we would have gone in the shop and just shoot a little bit here, put it on some videos, and then we can just hand it to people and say, here, take it home, look, you know, you can see. So we thought, well, that would be kind of a fun thing to do.
You were just helping friends.
Yeah, just to help everybody out. And then the more we thought about it, we thought, well, you know what, probably people everywhere would like to have a video like this and everything. So then we kind of got, you know, the ball rolling, the thought, you know, of maybe, you know, we should make these videos. And then we started putting the figures together, thinking, you know, well, you know, if 5 people in every major city around the United States, you know, maybe would order one or something, you think, boy, that's, I mean, you're looking at
a business model
250 to 500 videos or something. We thought, I don't know, that might be worth putting a little effort into. So we started planning it. And as soon as we went out and shot something with a VHS camera, you know, and then copied it, oh, it was so blurry, you know, I mean, it just, you couldn't sell this or anything. So we kind of dropped the idea a little bit, and then we ran into a friend of ours. This is a matter of coincidences that got this going. There was another friend of ours that we were talking about, that we had thought about doing this and what was happening. He said, oh, he said, Canon just came out with a digital camera. And you can just edit it, do this one thing after another, and it still ends up with the original video, because it's all digital. It's all, you know, 1s and 2s or 1s and 0s or whatever. How are they, you know what? But anyway, it's digital. So anyway, so we looked into that, and sure enough, Canon had this little Optura, they called it then, you know.
I remember that name.
Yeah, and it was a really good little camera like that. So we thought, okay, well, we got a camera to shoot with, and you know, that we can use like that. And then we came out into the shop and shot a few things, I think even with the VHS. And so we're shooting in the light with me more in the dark, you know. I thought, we got to figure out, you know, do we need to get lighting or whatever. And we had some stuff. We thought, well, we'll shoot some stuff and everything. And it just so happened on a Sunday afternoon, one of my Volkswagen guys come by, you know, and he had a little bit of trouble with his front. He had a Baja Bug, had a little trouble with his front end and stuff on me to look at it, you know. But if we come in, I could tell he was only running on 3, And you know, so I looked at his front end, told him what was wrong with the front end on it, you know, and how he could go about fixing it. I said, but that thing's not running right. So we went back around the engine. I started looking at it and everything. And he said, boy, he said, I wish I knew how to do some of this stuff. And I said, we're actually thinking about doing a video to show people how to tune these things up and do some stuff on it and everything, you know. And I said, but we got to work out some different. He says, you're not going to believe this. He said, but I used to be a cameraman for one of the news stations here, and he says, I can show you how to fix those problems and stuff, you know. And he said, I got a few days coming here pretty soon. He said, if you can wait till next week, I'll come and spend the week with you, and I'll help direct it and everything, you know. And he was good at it, you know. He was very good at it, you know. In fact, he was there with us for the first 3 videos, and he was real helpful because he knew. When you're looking into a camera, sometimes you got your head back. They say, no, Rick, keep your head down, you know, and look right at the camera. Don't look away when you're talking, you know.
He was a director.
And he would, you know, take 3, you know. I mean, there was times that it took, you know, like 20 takes, you know. One of them, the oil pan video thing, it was oil change pan. I couldn't say that right and it took I think 18 things for me to finally get that all right. The oil change pan, you know. So, but anyway, and it grew from that. You know, then once we got a first one out there, then we had to find somebody who could edit digital video because there weren't any professional shots around, and there just happened to be some guy over in the Cape that was doing commercial videos, and he was from California, and he used to edit the old Rock Hudson and Doris Day movies and stuff like that. They've been around forever, but he had stayed right up to date on everything, you know, and he could edit digital video, and so he did that for Dan French was his name. He's probably not around anymore, but he did our first video for us. But he let Chad sit right there with him, and he showed him exactly how to cut the scenes and how you did digital video, you know. And he was getting ready to go back to California anyway, so he didn't care if Chad, you know, picked up where he left off and everything. So then Chad got a digital program, you know, and started doing it, and it went from there, you know. Then from that, you know, we put out the videos, and they really went over good because everybody did well. There was more than 5 people from all the major cities, you know. And when we found out when we got it out there, you know, that it really went well.
I know all of y'all have seen these videos, and I bet you remember Chad and Wade as well. I got to spend some time with Chad yesterday. He is the handiest guy. He got the RV hooked up on the electrical here with one of the welding outlets and has made my stay way more comfortable. But I remember loving Chad in those videos, and super nice guy to this day. Yeah,
he's good. He's good at about anything he gets into, you know. Yeah,
so you started selling videos, and you were doing this on DVDs a lot. And you were
actually, we started out on VHS.
Yeah,
we started out on VHS, and then we went to the DVDs. You know, that made it a lot easier. You know, basically going to the post office or putting them in the mailbox and stuff. You know.
And they're still available on bugmevideo.com. So if you want an old copy of one of those videos, the information is still just as good as it was the day it came out. You can still go to the website and grab some of those DVDs. So volumes 3 and 8, I think, are the big ones. Is that the engine?
Yeah, the engine rebuilds. Yeah.
I found my copies just the other day.
Yeah. Volumes 9 and 10 on the electrical have kind of picked up a lot too, because electrical stuff is a little mystery to some people, you know, and it helps them with that stuff, you know. So that's a pretty big one too, you know. Of course, volume 1's, you know, all the general maintenance stuff. That one's always been a pretty good seller too. So yeah. And then heater channels, kind of a hard job, you know. People like that video if they're going to put in heater channels and fix their floorboards and that stuff like that. 6 and 7, the heater channel video and the floor pan video.
It took a lot of really helpful away from it.
If you're a lot of people, that's too much of a job for them, but the ones that have gotten them, there's like, oh, this thing has been a godsend, you know, to help me get this thing done, you know. So people like that. Now we're thinking about moving on a little bit to streaming, you know, if possible. We have a rental thing, but it isn't working right, you know, and we might be able to, and it's basically streaming, but you and I talked about it a little bit, you know, but I think a lot of people don't want to put a big old clunky disc in and, you know, operate a machine and everything to do that, you know. A lot of the old timers do. They like the DVDs, but I think a lot of newer people like it a little bit easier. So we're probably gonna try to develop the streaming end of it here in the future, you know, so people can check back with us and see what kind of progress we make on that.
I think it would help, Rick, if we could hear from you. Let us know if you want to see those Bug Me videos show up on streaming, and what your interest level is in that. And that'll help Rick make the decision about what service to use and how to make all of that stuff happen so the content can be kept alive and continue to help people.
Yeah.
What's so awesome is that that's how it started.
Yeah.
You're just trying to help people.
Yeah. Yeah. They can reach me at bugmevideo@gmail.com. So if somebody's got an interest in that or got some suggestions on some of that.
Yeah, you get straight to Rick with that. You said
bugmevideo@gmail. That's my email address, you know. Yeah, so they can catch me there. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll be seeing tens of emails.
We'll see. You know.
No, that's great. Look Rick up and let him know what you think about the Bug Me videos.
Yeah.
So the rest is history. They've been selling ever since, and then I think it was a year ago we had a little bit of drama here. There was a hurricane that kind of changed the area a little bit. Can we see some of that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. If you want to walk around, we can look at it. It blew out about half the ceiling back here.
All right, so we have a skylight over here.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and one of our cabinets, you know, fell down here, so this looks a little different than it used to.
And there was a cabinet up here.
Yeah, it used to be a cabinet here with some stickers on it and everything, another shelf up here. But this is pretty much the way it was 25 years ago. It's just kind of got a little messier.
Indeed, it's great. So that's part of the impetus for why we're here today. We're doing a little bit of parts picking because the space can't hold as much of the good VW parts anymore with the damage that's occurred. You can see it behind us here. So we've picked out some core engines and we're looking at some big engines, which is me out of my wheelhouse. But Rick's helping me out in making decisions with all that and giving me a good deal so that we can keep the Hard Times engine build going. But that's kind of what's changed things a little bit is the unfortunate circumstances with the weather about a year ago.
Here's the original 67 Volkswagen that we used in Volume 1 and a couple of the others there and everything, you know. I retired it. I retired it in 15.
Okay, not too long ago.
No.
Oh, yeah. So this is the bug on.
Yeah, that's the bug on the shirt. Yeah,
the original Bug Me video shirt. And I think it shows up elsewhere, doesn't it? On the videos.
It's in the ads and stuff, and it's in a couple of the videos and stuff. It was actually the one we did. I restored this to use in the videos. Well, we got the idea that we were going to do the videos, and we went through this here and restored it.
So it's 67.
So it was now it's been 25 years and it's about due for a new restoration.
Sure it happens.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. Let's take a look at this part. This is a single relief case, and we were looking up some information on it. We found something a little bit interesting about it. Can you tell us about that?
Oh, we looked up the number, and evidently this engine came out in the fall of '69, right when they were changing, and it's got the place for the dual relief, except the second relief is not really in there. I just happened to think later on too that they called these engines early bird engines. When they would go to change something, they would remachine and they would start. Yeah, you can see that's not threaded or anything, but yet the casting's there for the dual relief. Isn't that weird?
That's cool.
But they did things like that, you know. And they did that particularly in '60 on the buses, and it was actually called an early bird bus motor, and it was just before the 40 horse came. It was actually like the early 40 horse motor, and it had a great big oil seal in it, and there was some really unique things about that motor. And I've talked to some of the old Volkswagen guys; they don't even remember that motor even existed. But my stepdad actually worked at the Volkswagen dealership and bought a brand new '60 Volkswagen bus, you know, and he was actually going to make a food truck out of it and stuff. I don't think he ever finally got around to that, but that was what he was going to do. But we had that. We lived in Indiana then, and we drove to Florida and back in it and stuff, you know, all that. But it was an early bird.
Some cool history. You had a book that helped us out in finding some of the details on this and a million other things. So we take a quick glance at that book.
I don't know how many people have ever seen this. It's the car of the century. This is volume 2. I've never seen a volume 1 of it. I don't know if you can get that on.
Hold it up for him.
Yeah, you can see that there. And volume 1 evidently, I think was something like from 46 to 60 through 60. But this thing tells every single change that they did year by year. And it's really interesting. I mean, it's a little bit boring reading if you want to just try to read it. But I mean, every time they change the nut size or anything, they have it recorded on this thing here. And it's all the upholstery colors, all the paint colors, that, you know, when they changed in what years. And it's pretty interesting if you're a Volkswagen nut, you know, which some of us are. You know, so it's kind of a fun book. You know, if anybody has one of them, I tried to find one online, and there was one available for $400. So if you got one, hang on to it, or you got something valuable anyway. You know, so. But the guy that did this, daughter, is actually supposed to be putting out a new version of this at the end of this year. So you can kind of look out for it. It's the car of the century. Yeah, it's a good resource.
So you come across stuff like that with a long career in VWs, and I imagine along the way you might have started some careers. I heard that you have something to do with a Chris Vone.
Oh yeah.
Getting started. Can you tell us that story?
When we were digging around through stuff, just in the last couple of days, I found this thing, which is a little stabilizer thing, you know, and I got this from Chris Vone years ago, before he was actually restoring Volkswagens and stuff. And I got this from him, I think, on eBay, and he asked me, you know, what's this bug me video? And I said, well, we're making Volkswagen how-to videos. He said, really? He said, me and my dad, we love the old Volkswagens. And I said, well, I've got videos on showing how to, you know, detail about how to do it. So I don't know if I traded him videos for this, or if he bought the set of them, or I might have even given him a set of them because he was so interested in everything. But he took off from that, and probably most people have heard of Chris Vone, because he's got over 100 videos, I think, out there or something. He's real helpful to a lot of people and everything, and a great guy, you know. But that was kind of funny that we found this, you know. I thought, yeah, I got this from Chris, you know. That was before he was actually in the Volkswagen business. He was making independent movies back then and stuff, you know. But he went from that to now he has a nice shop. I mean, I've seen some videos of in their shop, and he does really nice work and stuff, you know. So that's kind of neat just to have a little bit of a part of Chris's background there. Anyway.
Yeah, we're hanging out with a legend today. A legend that makes
well, you know, that's the way it is with the Volkswagen things. Everybody helps everybody else anyway. Indeed. You know, Chris, he'd call me for a while. Now I could call Chris probably. He's more up to date on things than I am, you know. So, but you know, everybody in the Volkswagen business seems to be pretty much want to help each other. Indeed. And stuff. You know, it's not a you know, dog eat dog competition thing among the Volkswagen people. You know, it's kind of neat, you know. We're kind of our own little world here, I think, or something, you know. So it's pretty neat.
It's a great group of folks.
Yeah,
we prove it every time we get together.
Yeah. You get Volkswagen people together, and it's. I've gone to some of the American classic car shows and stuff, and everybody's all about their own car because they're all driving different kinds of cars. You know, whereas with the bugs, you know, everybody's still got the Volkswagen thing in common, you know, so they're all kind of enjoy each other's stories and, you know, what they've done on each other's cars and things, you know. So it makes it a little bit different, a little more unique, I think, you know. Yeah. It's
a great combination of shared interests in the cars, because they definitely bring us together. But I think the real glue is the shared values.
Yeah.
And everybody just wants to be kind to each other, help each other out when they can. And I think that's really what makes it work.
Yeah, just this weekend with us here together, you know, I mean, it's been fun.
Yeah.
It's been fun
like
digging around through stuff.
Years.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's pretty neat.
Well, speaking of helping, Rick's going to help me out with a large engine here. I'm maybe dipping my feet in the water. We've been taking a look at a 2110 over the last day or so. So he's going to help me out with this one. So stay tuned for further updates to see what happens there. But in the meantime, make sure you go to bugmevideo.com and check out any of the volumes that you don't have yet, or if you lost your old copy, maybe a good time to get another one. And that'll definitely help Rick and his family as they move forward. And let us know what you think he should do in terms of streaming, if you'd be interested in some content being made available that way. He's definitely got some support behind him for this. Just need some input from all of you. But Rick, thank you so much for spending some time with me and sharing stories.
Oh,
we've
I've
been
enjoyed
talking
every
for
minute
hours.
of it. Yeah. Yeah, it's been fun.
It's really been great, and we look forward to what comes next.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'll keep you in the loop.
Yes, sir. That sounds good.
Yeah.
All right. Bye, everybody. We want to do a silly shot. Make a stupid face. Everybody make a stupid face.